Bear on a Trampoline Horror Month.
I am here to end your miserable life.
Tonight, I actually have a movie that I've been waiting a long time to see, probably about a year and a half now, and that is 31. I'm a big Rob Zombie fan. I love Rob Zombie. I think his first film, House of a Thousand Corpses, was great. When it came out, it was super entertaining. I loved it, thought it was pretty original. Well, not really that original, but it was still fun. You know, it had a fun atmosphere, and it was just a great film. And then, of course, he released The Devil's Rejects. And it's still, to this day, one of my all-time favorite horror movies. I love that movie from beginning to end. I mean, I think it's a masterpiece. It's an incredible film. And of course, after that, there was Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, which were big-budget Hollywood films. And that's where it seemed like he started getting a little shaky with his movies. Well, I enjoyed both the Halloweens, and I do have the reviews for them on here someplace if you want to go take a look at them. They weren't as good as The Devil's Rejects. So after Halloween 2, he released Lords of Salem, and I was really excited about this because it's his return to writing an original script again. He didn't have to actually follow somebody else's movie or idea. He could totally go off on his own, even though Halloween 2 was sort of like that. But this was an original film and nothing to do with the franchise. And I can tell you that I hated Lords of Salem. I thought it was terrible. It was a good-looking movie, don't get me wrong. It looked really great. Just boring, and then to make Sheri Moon Zombie the main actress, come on now, she's not the world's best actress, was a huge mistake. I don't think she could carry that film whatsoever. So now all these years later, we finally get 31. And again, super excited here because we have an original script by Rob Zombie. So I was actually waiting for this to come out in the movies, and then I found out it's on video on demand. So last night I rented it, couldn't wait to watch it, so I was excited all day to get home and see this. So what we get here is Rob Zombie's normal ensemble of his same actors he basically uses in most of his films. What I really want to see is him work with new actors, something that no one's seen before. But basically we got, again, Sheri Moon Zombie, and the other main guy was been in some of his other films. I know he was in Halloween as the guy that was hosting the Halloween show. He was in Halloween 2. And I believe that Doomhead was the ambulance driver. I could be wrong here. Was he the ambulance driver? And a few other people that were in this film, I think, were mostly in his other movies. And once again, all these people are basically white trailer trash. But this time, they're white trailer trash carnies traveling around in a carny bus. The beginning of this movie starts out super strong. We have this guy named Doomhead, and he was mesmerizing. I mean, it starts out, and I was just glued to every word this guy had to say. It was in black and white. It was super well filmed. Awesome, just incredible opening sequence. Could not tell you how much I love that. Then we got the credit sequence, and this also was great. So well done, Rob Zombie. But then the movie actually starts, and it's basically the same as every other Rob Zombie movie, but not as well done. He's putting Sheri Moon Zombie as a main character in this. I don't understand why she's not that great of an actress. I understand he's married to her, but still, I mean, come on, get somebody who can really act in your films, Rob Zombie. For example, the guy who plays Doomhead. So the beginning of the film, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away, so don't worry about turning the review off or anything. But the beginning of the film starts out and it kind of shows, here's our new white trash family. And I personally don't think it showed the group of people that much before they got abducted and got into trouble. So by the time that happens, you don't really have any connection to these people. They're just kind of there. I mean, it's like, okay, you understand what's happening here, but I could care less what happens to these people because they weren't established as interesting characters before it happened to them. And that's one of the big problems, I think, with this movie is you just don't care. And it also borrows very, very heavily from the movie The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Basically, they get kidnapped and they have to survive 12 hours of these people trying to kill him. And that's basically the plot of the film. Great plot. I love the idea. And you have sort of a group of people running this whole organization, kind of like the Hunger Games. Again, pretty cool. Malcolm McDowell, great in here, even though he was only in the movie for less than 10 minutes. And that whole aspect of the film, they didn't talk about much either. They're there, but it would have been much more interesting to know why they're there, to hear why they're there, what they're doing there. I mean, how they got there, anything, but they're just there. Then once the action starts, it's okay. It's all right. And just like The Running Man, you have several different stages of this game they're in. Once they complete one stage, then another character, even more bizarre than the first character, comes in and tries to attack them. And then there's several scenes in the film that seem like they take place way too quick. And again, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it's like there's one scene that happens, and then it seems like they walk from this room into that room, and they discover something that should have taken a lot longer to set up, and rather than what they showed here. I believe this film was mostly fan funded. I don't know how much of it was actually fan funded or if the whole thing was, but yeah, it really shows here. There's like little or no budget at all in this film, and it's weird going from something like Halloween or Halloween 2 to this. Everything looked cheap in the film, and it didn't look like he spent that much time building sets, what sets there were. And there's a lot of films that can get away with that and still be good, but this isn't one of them. However, then we get towards the last of the characters here, and that's Doomhead. I don't know the actor's name who played this character, but wow. I mean, wow. This guy was creepy. He was cool. He was extremely well acted, and he was sort of a combination of Boris Karloff's The Mummy mixed in with the Joker. And if anyone played the Joker, it should have been this guy. He would have been an amazing Joker. And once Doomhead shows up, the movie does improve quite a lot, because now you actually have a interesting character. And even though they didn't show that much about his background, they didn't need to, because his acting was so good. You didn't really need to know. You know he's crazy. I mean, that's really all you need to know. I think that if this film was much better, that Doomhead would have been as popular or even more popular than, say, I was going to say Howdy Doody.
Scaredy cat.
Chris, Howdy Doody's pretty scary, don't get me wrong. Captain Spaulding, I mean, he's obviously Rob Zombie's best creation. However, Doomhead is probably his second best creation. Guy was just spectacular. And if he does make another film, I hope he expands on this one a little bit and puts more of Doomhead in the next one, and no Sherry Moon Zombie, or a lot less Sherry Moon Zombie maybe. Speaking of her again, I think she was great in House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, because she did a great job playing Baby in those movies. She does a really good crazy character, but when she tries to do a straight character, it just doesn't work. So in all, I thought this movie was okay. Much better than Lords of Salem, not as good as Halloween's, not even remotely in the same ballpark as House of a Thousand Corpses or Devil's Rejects. His vision that he can put on film looks great, and I love his camera work, and all that is just fantastic, but it's just muddled up in a bad plot and characters you don't care about. I follow Rob Zombie on Facebook, and I kept hearing that this film couldn't get an R rating, that they tried to get an R rating, and they finally ended up with an X rating for the film. Because it was so violent, they were getting an X rating for the film, and I was expecting some sort of blood gore fest here, and it wasn't that bloody. Couple scenes here, blood spurting around, but that's normal for a horror film. This literally could just have been on cable or even network TV. It was that tame. So I'm sure they will release maybe an extended cut version, which would be great to see. Maybe they can extend on the characters, the plot a little bit more, and give us the gore. There was more gore in Halloween and Halloween 2 than there was in this, which, again, I don't understand. There's parts of it that are good. I think the last 20-30 minutes of the film is really good once Doomhead shows up. So I would give this film a 2.5 out of 5. All I can say about this is better than his most recent efforts. And I'll see you next time on Box Office Maniacs. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
In hell, everybody loves popcorn.